Good morning and overcome today. Welcome to a wonderful show called Blended Families on Sold Out TV. I am Mrs Nkosi and I'm one of the hosts on this show. Today I'm alone because I want us to talk about what us as women experience in this setup of blended families. But I'm going to enlarge it more than just when you are a woman in a blended family. I'm going to start it because whether or not you're in a blended family, you might be an external part of a blended family. And I will use my journey so that I take you through as a woman, because we've got different aspects of how we get connected to a blended family. First, I'll take you through with my journey. For instance, firstly, I was married, then got divorced, but when I got divorced, I had a son. So now I became a divorcee. But now, because I had a son, I then became a single mother. You move from single mother, then you become what the world calls baby mama, because now you have a child with a man you're not with, and you as a woman, you are expecting the man to support the child. So from there, by the grace of God, I became married, and now I moved to become with a man that had children, and then now I became what you call a stepmother. So I'm going to address the ladies in all those aspects, all those levels. From first becoming a divorcee with a child, which you become a single mother. That process is not easy for most women, because you come from a setup where you would call it, let me say, stability, because now you are with your husband, you have a child with your husband. Now you are trying your best to grow this family. And when it doesn't not work out the way you envisioned it to work out, it can have a certain impact on you as a woman, because first of all, once you get to a point now where there is divorce, you start having feelings within you that makes you feel, maybe I failed as a woman. Because we try, when you are, especially when you are young and you get into a marriage, you try to measure up to the level of what the standards of what the world calls a good wife. And when you come out of a failed marriage, it starts working on you, within you. You start thinking, maybe I failed. Maybe if I could have been this certain wife, things would have worked. Maybe if I did things differently. There's a lot of emotions that comes to you when you've transitioned from being a wife to now becoming a divorcee. And unfortunately also, there's also attachment that comes from the world about you being a divorcee. In most cases, when you are a woman and you divorce with a man, the whole process where now you have to share things, and now you are fighting for maintenance and all of those things comes with a lot of emotional instability, where you are very emotional. You are fighting for what you think you believe you deserve, but everywhere you come across, the world tells you that you are a gold digger, you want too much money, what is the problem with you, can't you just move on? You become, that process makes you so hurt, so tired. You blame yourself. It can even temper on your confidence. It tempers on your peace of mind. It tempers on a lot of things that we require as a woman to be happy. Because first of all, you have failed in the marriage. Secondly, now you're trying to transition from where you were and starting this new life. This new life that requires you now to be completely independent from where you come from. And marriages fail for different reasons. Some of us leave, some the man leaves you. And when it's like that, you have so much hurt. The episode where my husband was talking to the man, he talked about deep-seated pain, deep-seated hurt. And through that process, bitterness can grow in a woman's heart, anger can grow in a woman's heart, offense can grow in a woman's heart, disappointment. There's a lot of things that gets harbored in our heart in that process that makes it so difficult for you to transition to the new life and find happiness in the new life, because you find that there's a lot of things that now the world tends to classify you as. You now are a divorcee, you are now a single mother, and the child that you are with requires you to be emotionally stable at a difficult time where you're dealing with something that you never experienced in life, or you never even imagined experiencing it. You need to be strong for your child or your children, because for some women it's more than one child. At the same time, you need to ensure that you survive with you and the children. You need to make sure that you're still the same mother, the mother that the children require. You offer them love, you offer them that wonderful home that the children need. For some women, you have to move back home. And obviously when you're moving back home, most of us at home, people around the neighborhood knows you. When you come back home with a child, there's also another classification again. Oh, she failed at her marriage. So a woman deals with a lot. Apart from the situation she's dealing with, there's also the world outside that are naming her, classifying her in a certain category, and at the same time she's trying to find this new life, find herself in this new setup as a single mom, as a divorcee. So we tend to, in that situation, it takes time for a woman to heal. It takes time for you to heal. It takes time for you to transition into completely being and understanding where you are in life, and understanding that where you are in life has nothing to do with you. It does not define who you are, and it does not mean that now that you are in that situation, you are all of a sudden the worst person on this earth, or you are all of a sudden a failure, and you cannot be able to maintain anything because you failed in what you were trying to build. Then you have a process where now you are a single mother, and financially, emotionally, physically, your children depend on you. Yes, some fathers do support their children financially, but you find that because they're not living in the same household, you have to deal with the children directly. If the child is hurt from school today, you have to deal with it. If the child comes back from school and saying they are teasing me, they say I don't have a father, you have to be strong for your child and deal with it. That's why we get to a point where sometimes, because of not knowing how to handle the situation, we become angry, we become bitter, and we just want the former spouse to feel what we are feeling. And then you find a point where now there's clashes between you and the father of the children. And because now they are not providing that which you expect them to provide to the child, you even get to a point where you feel they do not deserve to see their child. That is a very important aspect, because we need to understand that I might have failed as a wife, or your former spouse might have failed as a husband, but that does not necessarily mean he cannot be a good father. Therefore, but because of the moment, the clutter that is in our heart, the hurt, the unforgiveness, the disappointment, it makes it difficult to differentiate those two. But it's a very important point, because if he couldn't be a good husband to me, or if I couldn't be a good wife to him, it does not necessarily mean that it also falls to the kids. Yes, there's different situation. Everyone knows the men they married. Some situation you are protecting the safety of your children. That is a totally different situation. But when you refuse your children to see their father because they're not providing money, they're not providing the support the way you wanted, and there's that disagreement, it will cause more damage to the children than to you or the man himself. Because a man can move on. He can be hurt that he's not able to see his children, but he can move on, get married, and get more children. But there's no one that can replace those thoughts in the child's head that says, where is my dad? Why doesn't he love me enough to come see me? There's a lot of questions that goes in our children's head, and we need to be cognizant of that, so that the decisions we make after transitioning from a marriage to now being separated or divorced, we need to be aware of what that situation does to our children and what are the thoughts that they are harboring inside of them. Because sometimes they even think that it is their fault that mommy and daddy have separated. So during that time, as a woman, where you're finding yourself divorced and you're finding yourself as a single mother, it is a very, very difficult time. I want to encourage, if you are now at that space, to find a trustworthy person, or a trustworthy either spiritual leader or someone in your family that you can trust, and talk about it. Because we tend to feel, like me, we tend to feel that if I don't talk about it, it shows that I am strong, I can handle this. But the mistake is that when you don't talk about it and you don't seek help, is that you harbor everything inside of you. And whenever a small things happen, it triggers that which is either the anger inside of you or the bitterness inside of you. Your child can do something small, but because there's anger inside of you, the way you will reprimand the child, you will even feel bad afterwards, because now you are harboring feelings inside of you that you believe, no, I don't have to talk to anyone, I'm strong, I'm fine, anyway, I was happy with this divorce. But no matter whether you wanted to get out of the marriage or not, when you are eventually out, there's things that you deal with that you've never dealt with that makes it very difficult for you to deal with the situation of being a single mother. Then the bitterness that is inside is that every time your former husband utters something to you or does something that upsets you, then you go off like a time bomb, and everything just falls apart. And you go back to remembering the hurt. Then you go back to becoming emotional, because now everything gets brought back about what has happened in this failed marriage. Therefore, I would like to encourage all the single mothers that now you have transitioned from the marriage and now you are in a new setup where you are a single mother. Or even though it's not a marriage, or you've been separated with the father of your children, your former partner, or you fell pregnant, and when you fell pregnant, the relationship you were in did not work. Now you find yourself as a single mother. It is tough because the child needs your financial support, physically they need your support, emotionally they need your support, while at the same time you are not well. There is nothing wrong with seeking help. Help where you are able to sit and talk about that which you are feeling. There's no weakness in that. Because once you find the help, the sooner you are able to express that which you are dealing with, the sooner you are able to eventually move on from it and be able to enjoy or have joy in the new setup. Let me put it that way. Yes, it takes time, but once you take that step, you are able to now understand that where you are has nothing to do with you. It is not your fault. It is circumstance that has occurred in your life, but now it requires you to stand up strong and be in the situation where you are a mother and need to be able to fulfill that motherhood, where in some cases now you have to be a father and a mother, which becomes very difficult. Seek help in your church, seek help in your family. Some prefer medical help. Talk to someone so that you deal with what is inside. Do not cover it up. Let it not become deep-seated, because it will continue coming back. Whenever after a couple of years you want to move on to a new relationship, if you didn't heal from the previous relationship, those feelings will come out again, and you wonder why is it that since I've divorced or since the father of my child left me, I'm not able to maintain a new relationship. It is because that which you experienced in your previous relationship was not dealt with, because you felt, no, I'm fine, I'm over it. But as soon as you meet another male counterpart, some things they do, because men are men. There is as the action or the way he speaks that will trigger that which you thought that you have healed from. And most single mothers will say, why is it that every time I try to move on, I cannot, the man leaves? Why is it that every time I try to move on, it doesn't work out? Because you are taking with you that which you had experienced in the previous marriage or relationship without even you being conscious of it, because you have already said, I am fine, I'm dealing with it my own way. And now comes a time now where you are with the children and you require the support from the father of the children. The support is not coming. For some women, they don't even need the support. Some women will say, look, just spend time with your children. That's all I want. And you find that you are not receiving that positive feedback from your former husband or from the father of your children or your child. That can also put you in a very difficult situation, that when you reach out, you are now they start calling you names. Here comes the baby mama again. She wants more money. Here comes the baby mama again. She just wants the man's attention. That can be very difficult for you, because all you want is for the man to be involved in his children's life, but you are not getting that positive feedback from them. And when they are not even acknowledging their children, it becomes even more difficult, because you are in a situation when you want it to happen, but it is not happening. And when the children ask you, Mom, where is my dad? Who's my dad? Where is he? I want to see him. And you also want them to see him, but he is not responding positively. That can leave you in a very difficult situation, because every child needs a father figure. Every child needs a father figure. For some of you, the father has passed away, and now you are put in a situation where you have to explain to your young children that daddy is no longer on this earth, but they are still young. That can also be difficult for a woman. when you are in that situation, it feels like you are helpless and there is no solution for it, because that which you are trying to do for your children, you are not getting a positive response from their dad, can leave you very hurt. At the same time, it hurts the children. So there's a lot of hurt in the house. And because both of you are hurt, there can be a lot of emotions that come up. You know, sometimes we find our children, we say they are being naughty or they are not listening. They just rebel. It's because of that hurt that they have inside of them. And they say, where's my dad? Why doesn't he love me? Why doesn't he reach out for me? What have I done to him? Was it a curse for me to be born? Children go through that. And it can be very difficult for you as the mother who need to support, emotionally support those children. And for you to find the solution, it is with time. With time, as you speak to your children, as you understand their cry within. The mistake we do sometimes when we don't have answers, we tell them, don't ask me about that. You're making me angry right now. Don't ask me about your dad. I don't know where he is. I don't know what is the problem with him. You start talking badly because now it's becoming too heavy on you to explain, because it is difficult for the children to understand. Try your best not to respond negatively. It confuses the children even further, because they will start thinking that now you are the reason why they are not seeing their father. Whenever you respond harshly and with anger and telling them not to talk about their father and not to even ask you, in their little mind, they start thinking that my mom is the one that does not want my father to see me. And the children will never say anything to you. They will grow up believing that within themselves. And you find a time where now the child leaves and goes on a mission to find their dad without even telling you. Because they feel that whenever I raise the name of my father, or I raise and I ask the question, this mother reacts in a manner that I cannot handle. They keep quiet, they keep to themselves. Some, unfortunately, meet other people on the street, they introduce them to things that are ill in the society. Some, fortunately, they meet Christ and they're able to lead their life properly. Some, fortunately, they make proper decisions. But once they are out of your control, they go seeking for that man. And whenever they find their father, sometimes it might be even too late. You find that the father has passed away. Now the child has to go through other emotions now, because they couldn't freely express themselves at home. When we deal with questions that we cannot answer from our children because of the new setup, let's shy away from acting harshly. That's why I said it is very important to deal with the feelings that the failed marriage or the failed relationship has caused inside of you. Because when there's a time that comes that you deal with questions from your children that you cannot answer because you're not getting proper feedback from the other former spouse, those feelings will come out and it will end up on the children. Seek help. Talk to someone in the ministry, or talk to someone in your family, or talk to someone that is not even connected to any of you, where you know this person will be listening and will also be able to assist in pouring out. We move to when you are fortunate now, when you have dealt with what is inside of you that has affected you from the previous relationship, from the previous marriage. You have dealt with what is inside, and you feel as a mother that you are okay with getting married again because the healing has come, and you and your children's journey has been in such a way that you can see that they do require a father figure. But in most instances, you find that their father is still very well present in their life, and you have come to a point where you feel that I have healed, I have moved on. I have healed, I have moved on from the past, and now I'm ready to start a new journey. When you start a new journey and you become married again, those are also other challenges that you experience in the new marriage, because now you come with children in this marriage. And I think that's what makes it difficult for single mothers to be able to have a new partner, because you have those fears in your mind or in your heart to say, will this man love my child? Will this man treat my child with love? Will he be a father to him that my child won't even feel that they are not related in terms of blood? That's why we see some mothers, they will rather take their child, when they get married, when they enter into a marriage, they rather take their children to their mother, where they feel that they will get better love there. But the mistake we make in that, yes, you have good intentions, that maybe it is better for me to start this life and leave my child at grandma. There's a positive and a negative in that, especially where the child is concerned. Most of the children that are left with grandmother and are not put into this new marriage, they feel that they are no longer needed. They don't know your intention. In the previous episode, we mentioned a lot about communication with the children, sitting them down and making them understand what is the reason for me now going to stay with grandma when you are now getting involved or getting into marriage with a new man. The child can feel rejected. The child can feel unwanted. The child can feel that I no longer have a mother anymore. This new man in her life has taken her away from me. Yes, you can regularly go visit your child, but the thing is, life happens. Things become busy, and you only find sometime. You are only able to visit your child sometime. I know it's not an easy decision to make. It's not like you sit down and you decide, you know what, I want to start this new life and this child must just go to grandmother so that I can focus on my needs. It has a lot of things involved in it. But please understand that once that is done, there's a lot of things that goes through a child's mind. And the only thing is that negative thing is that they start blaming themselves. That now that I am here, I am not wanted in the new marriage where my mother is going, or my mother does not want me anymore because they have met a new man. If it is possible for you, I cannot stress this any harder, that do your best that when you move into a new marriage, which will result in you having a blended family. Do your best to keep your children. And whenever you cannot feel safe with keeping your children in a new relationship, a new marriage, then you really need to ask yourself, is this marriage really for me? Because when you move from being a single mother and being married again, it needs to this new marriage needs to now accommodate you and your children, so that we do not have children that are emotionally unstable because of the feeling rejected and unwanted. When you are in a new blended family now and you find that your new husband also has children from another marriage, and now you need to blend this family together, that can also bring other challenges that we've already shared with you over our episode when we shared our journey with my husband and our children. Raising a blended family as a woman requires you to be strong in faith, strong in your belief, and especially strong in believing in this new marriage and this new family setup. Because when you don't believe that this new family setup is going to work, a lot of challenges that come your way because of the new blended family can make you want to give up. And remember, when you are married in a blended family, it is not just you and a husband. There's also new kids that have accepted you as a new mother. Therefore, when that setup breaks, there's a lot of hurt in that area. In some instances, you enter into this new marriage, everything is fine with you and the husband, but the children of the man do not want to accept you. And you are longing to be their mother, but they do not want to accept you. That's why I say, be strong in your belief that this marriage can work. Because when that happens, children can be very disrespectful and very rude, because they are still also having the hurt from the previous relationship that didn't work with their father and mother. And then now there comes you, wanting to make this family work with children that are hurt. We need to understand that when moving into a blended family, we're dealing with a man that's got a hurt from a previous marriage or relationship. We're dealing with children that are hurt from the separation of their parents. Therefore, it's not that easy that you're going to walk in and everything is going to be hunky-dory and everyone is so in love with each other and move on. There will be challenges to bring that relationship together. Now you move into a position of a stepmother. You are a stepmother to these children. I don't like the term stepmother, and I love it when I hear mothers who found children in the marriage, they say, I'm not a stepmother, I'm a mother to them, and they are my children, they're not my stepchildren. But I will use this term because this is the term that is used in the world, so that you understand what I am explaining to you. You go into the marriage, now you are a stepmother. The children, your husband's children, are not your children. And for some, you bring a child or children also in this marriage. Now you need to start working on maintaining your marriage, at the same time working on starting and building this relationship with the children, all of them at once. making sure that they all feel love, making sure that they all feel equally treated. It takes a lot from you, because you are in a situation that you've never experienced. And you also as a woman need to know, how do I love a child that is not mine? Strong in your faith, strong in your belief, and especially strong in believing that this new marriage will work is what it won't make your life easier, but it's what will continue, no matter what stone is thrown at you in trying to make the new blended family work, you will still get up stronger and fight for your family. The children that cannot accept you, it does not mean they hate you. No, they don't hate you. They just don't understand this new setup that is happening, and they have that fear that maybe my father will now focus on this woman and forget about us. Put yourself in their shoes. Don't punish them for what they are doing, but find ways into understanding what is it they are going through. What is it that is making them act out in this way towards me? Think of yourself that, let's say when you were young, your father left your mother or your mother left your father, either way, and then now one of them got remarried. How would that make you feel? Or if you were in that situation, how did it make you feel? Sometimes instead of focusing on the resistance, try to understand what is the root of this resistance that I'm experiencing right now. Because once you know the root, then you will know how to deal with it. And love, 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 love them. Whether you are getting a positive response from them or not, love them. Creating a relationship with their mother. I've mentioned this before. You and the mother needs to be partner moms. But yes, it does not start that way, because there's fears that they have as well. That will the new woman in my former husband's life treat my children like her children? Because we hear a lot of stories. We hear a lot of stories about stepmothers. You know, we hear stories about stepfathers, but the stories about stepmothers are a lot, and they are enough to make anyone fear the thought of their children having a stepmother. They are enough to make anyone fear for their children to be in that situation, or to make any child fear to be a stepmother. Blended families is a family that requires you as a mother, as a wife, to be strong in your faith and believe that this that I am building will be able to work. It is not an easy path, but it's a path that you can conquer. There's a lot of battles involved, but those are battles that you can conquer. That you finally find yourself in a family where children understand you understand them, and you as the husband and wife are happy with the results that you see by not giving up. Divorcee, don't give up. Single mother, don't give up. Baby mama, don't give up. Stepmother, do not give up. Hold on strong. God is with you in every situation that you experience. If ever you feel that, oh my goodness, I left my child with my mother and I built a new family without them, it is never too late. Yes, they can be resistant because now they have adapted to this new life and they have concluded. But it is not too late to start the relationship, to understand your child's feeling, communicate with them, continuously engage with them, and understand what I have done, how has it affected them. Be a prayerful woman. There's nothing that God cannot conquer. When you have a father that does not want to see the children, that does not want to support the children, fight on your knees. There's nothing that God cannot do. When you feel that you are too angry, that you are too hurt, that you cannot even forgive the father of your children, ask our Father in heaven to give you a forgiving heart. When you feel that everything is coming down on you and you cannot handle being a mother and a father to your children, go on your knees. It is possible. Many women have done it with the support and never, ever, ever not acknowledge or accept support. The support system around you is what will help you to conquer the situation you're in. As a single mother, as a stepmother, the support that you are getting around you, the support system around you, will help you conquer the battle of that situation. And those who know, those who are listening, you are in the church, and in the church you know of a single mother, do not judge them. You are in the church and you know of a divorcee, do not judge them. You are in a church and you know of someone now is remarrying because they are from a failed marriage, do not judge them. Support them and let them know the love of God through you. When you know there's a single mother in the church or in our organization or in our family, call the lady. Ask her, would you need me to help you with anything? Because you are a single mother, you've got children, maybe two, they have different schools, they do sports, you need to be able to fetch them, you have work, others you have at crèche you can only fetch them until 6 or else you get fined. In that limited financial resources, they leave work late, they have to rush and get the child on time. But when they have a support system, they're able to call you as a support system to assist. Therefore, let us support each other. When you are a woman, you are in a situation that makes you feel hurt, angry, and bitter. Seek the support that you need. There's nothing God cannot do. Go on your knees and ask Him also, please help me to know which place to go for me to get help. Because it does not mean everyone who's offering you support really want to support you. Therefore, you need to ask for that discernment to say, Father, show me the way. Holy Spirit, lead me. Lead me to the right people that will help me in this journey that I'm in. I cannot do it on my own. Most importantly, never give up. Never give up never give up on yourself as a woman. It does not define who you are. You are a single mother because of a circumstance or a disagreement that happened. It does not define who you are. You are not a failure. You just had to experience that which you have experienced so that you can be able to help other women. If you are a divorcee, it does not define who you are. You can still build yourself up and be able to support other women in the same path. If you are a stepmother, it does not define you negatively. You have now gotten the opportunity to build a family It is by grace. Stay strong, never give up, and ask for help whenever you need it. You are not weak. And if any of you feel that I can't find anyone to help me, I'm struggling to find the support that I need, here we are as a blended family. Me as a woman have been through all those situations that I've been talking about. There's a number on our screen and our email address. Reach out to me. Reach out to us. We will help you with that support that you require for you to make it through transitioning from a divorce, becoming a single mother, being named a baby mama, now becoming a stepmother, and there is so much battle. Sorry. We are here for you. Do not despair. God loves you and God has a solution for all your problems. Be strong, women of God. Be strong, because we as women, when we are strong, we are emotionally well, when we are physically well, we are able to impact the world positively. Do not allow your situation to make you feel that your life is over. There is a new life waiting for you, and it only needs you to believe and have faith and go on your knees and pray for that which you want to see in your life. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you for being with us. Thank you for allowing us into your homes. We love you so much. Remember, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune in every Tuesday as we deal with more of the issues. Remember, email or call us. We are there for you. Do not struggle on your own. You have a support system that is here, that has gone through the journey. We love you so much. Goodbye. You are great from the beginning. See you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.